Hey, it's your guy Tyrrell back with the interviews. As we approach the final weeks of the Premier League, the title race is over. The top four race could be wrapped up very soon, but the relegation battle is ongoing. Who is going down? Who is staying up? It's so tight at the bottom, but if there's one thing that's for certain, West Brom look to be dead and buried. What went right? What went wrong? What could they have done different? Don't worry, here are the interviews. We've got you covered. So on this edition of the interviews, we're going to briefly break down why West Bromwich Albion it looks set to go down to the championship. So as we approach the final few weeks in the Premier League, the title race is over, but the relegation battle is heating up. As we break down teams that fall into that relegation battle, one of them that look like they're pretty much done is West Brom. Only 3 wins this season. They've changed a manager with Alan Pardew, but they just haven't got it right. When we look at 3 reasons why West Brom are going to go down this season, obviously you could pick a few other. They've only won 3 games, and they've tied quite a bit. But you have to look at these 3 key reasons, and they are probably the more primary issues to what West Brom are facing or have faced this season. We look at the board, they're in a 3-5-2. This season we've seen them playing more of a 4-5-1. And that has also been a key, which technically should have been a 4-3-3. And at times we've seen them playing a 4-4-2. They're very tactically flexible. They can play different systems. They aren't too bad without the ball. They stay in very narrow packs, whether it be a 4-4-2 and 2 banks of 4, whether it be a 3-5-2 and they go into a 5-3-2, or whether it be a 4-5-1. And they really just keep the space compact. So you have to question, why is West Brom not winning games? Why are they going to be going down with 2 Premier League managers that have the experience to stay up in this league? What's gone wrong? Main first issue, they lost of Daniel Sturridge. They brought Daniel Sturridge in because they were struggling in front of goal and felt that they needed him to bring them something different. You look at their attacking options, Solomon Rondon, Jay Rodriguez, who is not the player that he was at Southampton. Daniel Sturridge offered them something different. When we analyze games that they've played apart from the big teams, because if you get a result against the big teams, it's a bonus. When you look at the games that they played this season, for instance, the one where they lost 3-2 to Southampton, Daniel Sturridge, you look at him, what does he offer you? Premier League experience, reliability in front of the box. He has pace to break in behind the defense. He's able to use his trickery around the box. He could run into the channel. He could hold up the ball with his back to goal. He kind of offers you everything and was just stuck at a big team that didn't have a system that played to his strengths. He offers something different and something totally more in terms of pace, in terms of speed, in terms of awareness that Rondon and Rodriguez offer. Rondon likes to play with his back to goal. He needs support around him. Rodriguez likes to work into those channels, and together they make a great partnership. But with Sturridge, you felt like he could have offered something different, spinning in behind his goal scoring record around the box, his poaching, his trickery. It just gives them an extra bit of quality, and that's one thing they've lost, because now they've had to rely heavily on Rodriguez and Rondon. And what have they got from them? They've gotten some goals. You think about crosses into the box that Rondon could finish. You think about long crosses to the box where he's knotted it down for Rodriguez to finish. You think about the super volley, and this hasn't happened that much, but you think about the super volley in the FA Cup where it's Krykowiak who drops deep, he runs off the defense and volleys an effort into the far post. Perhaps the Southampton goalkeeper should save it, but it was a superb effort. But they just don't get enough from them, and we'll get to the next issue that West Brom have, and it's ultimately the creativity. What do they have around them? What is the problem? Because defensively, in terms of their shape, they're not too bad, but when you look at their options in terms of creativity, what do they really got? If they play with fullbacks, they've used Dawson, they've used Phillips, who can play there, they've used Brunt, but that's not really their role. You think about Dawson, he doesn't really get forward. When they use the wingbacks and they play a 3, Niam and Gibbs aren't bad. Well, they're not great defenders or great wingbacks, but they don't offer enough supply into the box to really to present a threat to the option defense or to create chances for Rondon and for Rodriguez, and that's key. And then you look at Brunt and Phillips, who obviously are some of the key men for this side down the flanks, or McLean sometimes. just delivering crosses in. But again, it's not enough because West Brom struggle in keeping the ball. They don't have the ball a lot in certain games. They can't really get their deliveries off, and that's pivotal. And you look at midfield, when you have Jakob, Barry, Krakowiak, sometimes they've had Brunt in there. Not the greatest midfield in terms of mobility, and they've suffered that. You think about the goal that Southampton scored, the second one in the FA Cup, where it's just a simple counterattack, and Krakowiak can't keep up with the pace, and Tadic is able to finish it off. You think about against Watford, where the game was pretty evenly balanced, and simple Krakowiak gets dispossessed, Hughes dispossesses him, plays in Troy Deeney free on goal, and all the Watford defenders are kind of out of position. I mean, the West Brom defenders are out of position, and that's pivotal, but they don't really have much in there. Krakowiak is a good midfielder, just doesn't have the options around him to make up for his lack of mobility. He doesn't get on the ball as much in terms to make passes, not enough movement. Gareth Barry also isn't a bad passer, but his age is against him right now. He's at the wrong age of 30, so that's pivotal, and they just don't have midfield runners. They don't have a player that could break near the box and really create something out of nothing. And in terms of the wide play, their wingers often are doing more of the tracking back because opposition fullbacks are looking to get forward, looking to peg them back, and that's been a problem. You think Watford, look at Watford doing that. You saw Southampton doing that. Leicester City were doing that, and you think about those games, and it's just there's not much going well for them in that area. So not enough service, not enough creativity from midfield, and the final error is just, obviously when you're at the bottom, sometimes hard luck does get with you, but poor defending. You look at the goals that they've conceded, it's just been really, really poor goals, and you have to question what is going wrong. Like, they're just not defending properly. They're giving out too much spaces in the wide areas. They're not getting men forward. They're letting men get forward and not really stopping them. But you look at the goals they've conceded this season, and we really have to get two other players from the board just to really demonstrate this. We got two attackers right here. And if we think to, let's say, Leicester, you think about the goals that they conceded there, just Vardy running off a marker, no one tracking him, finishes. And you think about Mahrez dropping into space ahead of the midfield bank. And yes, they should close him down. Yes, they should really get the job done and stop him there. And that's how that goal scored. Then you think about the combination between Mahrez and Iheanacho, and it leads to a ball clipped over. He runs off Higazi, finishes. You think about the cross into the box, Iheanacho is unmarked. That's obviously an issue. They end up losing that game 4-1. You look at the game against Watford, that's the mistake that happens. You look at the game against Southampton, just corner kicks into the box. Stevens is able to get away from his marker. There was one where two markers were dragged by Carrillo, and it's just a defender left in the box. He's able to tap the ball into the net. You think about the game against Bournemouth, it's just a bit unfortunate. They play well. They allow Jordan Ibe, who switched to the left flank, to cut in a shot that any defense will let their goalkeeper take. The goalkeeper makes a big hash of it, bounces over him in, and then you can't stop with Stanislas' 30-yard free kick that goes right into the top corner. And when you analyze every goal they've conceded since the start of the winter, or the final stretch of the season after the winter break, they're just poor goals, poor defending, lack of concentration. And when you give up goals like that against sides around you, and then you can't score goals in return, that is going to be the reason why you're in the relegation battle. There are games that they probably should have won or got a result from, and they lost due to individual mistakes. And when you really, really break it down, no Sturridge, no variety up front in terms of pace, trickery, and penalty box poaching. No creativity or drive from midfield. They're very immobile, and then the wide players are doing more defending and not getting enough crosses into Rondon or Rodriguez so they could play off the scraps, which obviously isn't a reliable, tried and tested way to score goals if it's not consistent. And poor individual defending and lapse of defenses and concentration around the box has been the root to West Brom's downfall. But let me know what you guys think. Meet me in the comments below. Don't forget I upload videos every day, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And that was your daily dose of the interviews.